My first job, a little project I did when I got laid off from my previous job, which was Google. I did a video project about how to avoid scams. And this was catered towards senior citizens in a church context, right? So then I became very interested about the whole privacy, I would say, industry, because there are companies out there that don't collect data on you and don't sell it to a bunch of advertisers, and bad actors don't get a hold of your data. So this is what it stems from. Now just in my background, like I worked under Google Ads. These are the people that build all the ads technology that collects a lot of data on people, and then they usually resell it to people. Well, actually, legally they can't, but no one really has control to see the partners that Google works with, who they sell it or don't sell it to. And if they don't sell it to, there are a lot of hackers out there that are able to hack databases, and every month somebody gets hacked and information gets leaked. Bad actors get a hold of our information, and it's up to the user or whoever gets our information to do whatever they want with it. And one of those things that you're probably aware of are scams. Scam artists trying to exploit money out of you. So this is where this came from. Now, one of the things that I've noticed when I was working under Google Ads is that one of the most hardest group to gather information on are ages 55 to 65, and then 66 to 75. It's like one of that group that they have the least amount of information on in order to cater ads to. So there's a lot of emphasis, a lot of attention in order to capture, I guess, that market of people. So that market of people can help make money to wherever companies that can advertise whatever products to you, hair gels, whatever it could be, vacation packages, cruises, whatever. So out of that, that's where I realized that it's a big target also for the bad actors. Now, we had family members that got scammed. I've heard that there's people in this church that got scammed. And part of protecting the flock is literally helping us understand, or at least a lot of these things we might know, but just as a reminder of safe practices that we could do in order to not get scammed. Now, a third of this church is wiser than me. So and people I've met, like, there's so much to learn from. It's been a huge blessing, especially like those the bingo dinners when we go to each other's houses and meet new people. It's been really cool, and I've made a lot of really good friends with people much wiser than me. But in reciprocal to that, I think there's a lot we can learn from each other, and this is exactly why we made this session. Now, why are senior citizens usually the ones getting targeted under these things? Well, one, there's less familiarity with tech, less familiarity with computers, less familiarity with what happens in the tech world. So it's a vulnerable area of people that are very susceptible to phishing attempts or all these fraudulent schemes. Another thing about kind of the nature of that category of people is that trusting, very trusting. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's a generation where a man is a man of his word, and I trust you. That's the contract. Very trusting in nature. So when somebody, approaches, whatever, the glossy, shiny promise is, there is a sense of a trusting nature, and advertisers or scammers, they know that, and they exploit that trusting nature. Now another about this category of people, the senior citizens, or people post-retirement. Financial stability, you work there, your whole life, there's a sense of savings, there's a sense of, income coming in now that the people are retired. And another thing, it's social isolation. A lot of statistics show that, you just, at a point where, most of your life is lived, kids are out of the house, and there's a sense of isolation, not a continual engagement. I mean, we're very blessed in this church to have this, but that's not the complete case for people outside of the church. So, I mean, this is why, in general, senior citizens, they get targeted, and they're more susceptible to being targeted. And not to overwhelm anyone, we created this cheat sheet. called the Scam Cheat Sheet. 6 steps. There could be so much more, and we're in a talks with the elders to maybe create a whole seminar, half a day, 2-day course, whatever, whatever time allows. But this is just a cheat sheet that you can post up on your fridge, and just as a reminder of how to avoid scams. You ready for it? Let's do number 1. Will someone read the big bold text in number 1? Don't. There you go. So don't answer unknown calls. I'm very susceptible to answering unknown calls. I'm like, oh, I gotta answer that. Okay, it's not somebody. I mean, I get calls from my brother at least once a week about real estate properties. I'm like, this is the wrong number, sorry. Stay with the script. If expecting a call, ask for the exact number or area code. Say like you're waiting for a doctor's appointment to call you back. Ask, and before you drop the phone, you book your appointment. Hey, listen, what number am I going to get a call from? Oh, this is the number. Or if they don't know the exact number, at least what's the area code? You put that number in your phone book directory or whatever. At least now in your caller ID, you'll know, oh, so-and-so from this office is calling. This is for me. And I've done this personally. I think it saves me a lot of headache to not answer unknown calls. Scammers, look, they can also spoof local numbers. They are very good identifying the area code that you live in, and therefore they want to replicate the local area number as close as possible. This is how we get fooled. And then important calls, they usually leave a voicemail or a message. And I've learned, okay, I don't know this number, they leave a message, great. More often than not, I'll listen through the voicemail, it's just empty sound. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm glad I didn't pick it up. So, and then there's this thing called voice cloning. So sometimes when you answer a call, they can literally clone your voice. Enough sample of your voice and audio, your voice could be cloned. So it's pretty scary. I mean, I can tell you more stories about that, but we want to make this short. Number 2, big bold text. Verify, okay. Verify messages and check original sources. So this usually happens via text message or your email, but scammers, they mimic real emails and texts. They send you emails that look like a legitimate company, but when you just verify who it was sent from, instead of it being, Xfinity.com, it's, bunch of weird characters, and it's not Xfinity whatsoever. And you realize that, hey, wait a minute, this might be a fraudulent source. And it's a very good way to look at the links, look at who the sender is, and to know that these are official sources. If it's any business, it would be at whatever the business name or something similar to it. Don't click links, right? So, for example, I had this with my Comcast account, Xfinity. Hey, your privacy options are vulnerable. Click this link in order to, make sure you're secure. Privacy, I don't want my information to go out somewhere. So instead of actually clicking the link, you verify by going to the original source. So in this case, I went to Xfinity.com, then I had a whole headache not being able to log in. I know my user account was, but that got figured out, half a day killed. Okay, I was able to log in, I'm safe. There is no vulnerability, everything is cool. But it could be anything, medical, it could be, utilities, whatever it is that you subscribe to on your regular basis. That stuff could be exploited. Check with the link. And in this case, banks. That's a new one. I logged on to chase.com after I made a payment. Usually the screen that happens is like, oh, thank you for your payment. Now they put up a screen saying, hey, these are the freshest new scams. Before you click out, just check up on the new scams that come across. Very interesting. But yeah, usually banks, they also send you, hey, funds were withdrawn. Click here to secure your account. Go to the original source, and that's how you verify the legitimacy of what's being asked. IRS, police, or the court system never notifies you by email, text, or even by phone of any outstanding issue that requires you to pay now. IRS scams, those are big ones. I had a family member that had an IRS scam. $649 later, they find out, blocked the card. and things were figured out, minus the money that was lost. Yeah, IRS usually sends you a letter. They're old school. I mean, they're inefficient, working for the government, part of the government. I don't know. There's a theories about what IRS really is. I'm not going to go there. But they usually send you a letter. There is a way that you can create an IRS like tax profile online and also verify on their website. But yeah, IRS, police, court systems, they don't do that. Common scams, like I said, there are banks, Amazon. Ooh, Amazon, they have a lot of scams. My mom had one not too long ago, and we actually notified Amazon. They're like, thank you very much. Didn't give us a discount, but they still thanked us for the reporting the scam. Postal companies, phone cable companies, utility and medical insurance companies. All right, number 3, big bold letters. What do we have on number 3? Skeptical, yes. Be very skeptical of money requests. Never pay with gift cards, or never pay with gift cards, wire transfers, or Cash App. And with those things, they're pretty much not trackable. Who it goes to, where the money goes to, it's a scam. Scammers will usually use a sense of urgency to time pressure you into making poor and rushed financial decisions. Yeah, I mean, what's there to that? Like they make it sound like it's a very quick thing that needs to be solved. Be very skeptical of that. Number 4. Who wants to read the big bold text on number 4? Ignore. Yeah, ignore pop-ups about viruses or that you've won something. Ooh, we like to win stuff. Yeah. Usually those are scams. They lead you to other websites, and it's actually a whole chain of different websites. So as your window, like little browser window, gets refreshed many times, there's many websites that then profit of just the ad revenue that comes up just by clicking the link. But a common solution for that is use Brave Browser. Has anyone heard of Brave Browser? One person. Okay, your standard would be your Microsoft Edge on Microsoft. On Apple, it will be Safari. All right, or if you're using Google products, it would be Google Chrome. Brave Browser is an alternative browser, very similar to Google Chrome, but what's so cool about it is that when you use Brave Browser, you don't see any ads come up on your screen. It makes a very undistracting browsing experience. No ads pop up, you don't see any ads, and it also blocks all the information that it's going out. So with these, with every, I worked under Google Analytics. Every website that you listen to, it gets an accurate description of the user, in this case, whether it's on a computer or your mobile device, and it kind of profiles you. It attaches all of your history of what you've been browsing. And advertisers, they know this. Okay, perfect. This person is interested in so-and-so. We're going to give them the right kind of ads. Brave Browser completely blocks all of that. So big tech companies or scammers, they aren't able to collect that information on you with all these little trackers that they put on websites. So Brave Browser completely blocks that. And yeah, you can search with Brave. Instead of going google.com, you go to brave.com. It's a very good search engine as well, or a start page. Okay, number 5. Number 5. This is a very interesting one, very relevant. Big bold letters. Safe word. Okay, set up a safe word with family. Grandparent scams trick seniors by faking distress calls and have a unique phrase only the family knows. Here's the scenario. A grandchildren calls. Hey, Grandpa, I'm stuck in Tijuana, and these dudes have a gun pointed at my head, and they're looking to get $500 now. Here's the place where you can send it to. It's so urgent, man. You don't want your grandchild to get messed up in Tijuana. Just getting the coffin back is a headache. But what happens is, I've told you about voice cloning technology. There is these companies that scrape up a lot of data on our grandchildren because they're on social media sharing everything. They share videos. Their voices can be cloned very easily. Very detailed information like nicknames, that only personal people know. They're able to scrape up so much data and create such an accurate description of anyone that when you get a voice cloned call, hey, this is actually my grandson, I hear his, understand his voice, there's literally only one way you can verify it, setting up a safe word. Now, a safe word could be like, hey, did you feed my dog yesterday? What are you talking about? I fed him every day, right? That's the actual answer to whatever the safe word is. Did you feed my dog yesterday? But this is, again, you choose your own, but this is a conversation you need to have with your kids, with your grandkids. Hey, listen, man, there's these AI scams happening out there. Your voices can be cloned. First of all, don't go on social media. It's bad for you. But second of all, if you do, let's have our inner circle safe word. So if these and this happened in this church, somebody was able to stop it. If anyone calls with such an outrageous thing, that I can test them with the safe word and they won't know it, because this remains among us. We don't text it to each other. We don't share it with anyone. All right? We don't talk about it with anyone except for family. So whatever that safe word could be, it'll be a wise thing to get some family meetings organized and just hang out with your grandkids and come up with a safe word that only you know. All right, last one. Passwords. All right, usually, just like me, or formerly just like me before I was aware of all these scams. All right, you go to a bunch of websites. It's pretty much the same password. You alternate some of the letters, numbers in the beginning or end, or it's like whatever the same password is with the one after it. Those are so easily guessable. All these new artificial intelligence scam companies, they're able to guess the passwords very, very easily. And another thing, if you're using the same password for everything, if one of those things gets compromised, gets hacked, or that data and information gets exploited and shared somewhere, well, guess what? Because it's that same password, a very similar password, all these artificial intelligences can scan all the subscription bases using that same or similar password and get into whatever else you subscribe to or log on to. So it's very important to use a unique password, not to reuse them, but use unique passwords everywhere. There's this thing called two-factor authentication where you're trying to log in, they send you a text message on your phone. It gives another level of protection. And then two-factor authentication. So basically, it's like you set up your phone number to receive text. So when you try to log in, before actually logging in with the correct password, they also send you a code, like usually a 6-number code on your phone, and then you put in that 6 numbers on whatever the login screen. But you have a physical device that it won't let you log in until that correct code is put in. And then be very wary of calls or emails requesting password resets. Here's a story, personal story. There was a musician that I was buying music pieces from, and when I was paying him through PayPal, he's like, oh, I need a 6-number code. I'm like, 6-number code? All right, so I go in, but wait a minute, this comes to my email. Why would he need the 6-number code? That's when I realized, hey, you're a jerk. Get off me, and I don't want to deal business with you. So I have no mercy, no grace with him, because I know where this is going. He wants that 6-number code in order to get into my PayPal account and have access to my bank account. And oh my goodness. Thank the Lord for discernment, right? It's a spiritual gift we have, and I think this is a great time to apply these things to. So a way to, this may be more advanced, it could be a full-on workshop. There's these things called password managers. You only know one password to one application, and it stores all your passwords, and it can create very complex passwords that there's no way you'll remember them, but they're kind of sync up with all of the places that you log into, and they make life very easy for you, and very hard for the AI trackers and scammers to exploit that information. So with that, these are the 6 steps. Don't verify skeptical, ignore safe word passwords. If you have any questions, send them my way. But we are looking to expand this whole kind of seminar because everybody is vulnerable, and nowadays we need to stay alert and have our gift and discernment on full notch. And like I'm just thinking about it. When I get older, what are scams are going to be like? Man, I want to be an Amish, live nowhere, and not be scammed. Seriously, like, because it gets so good. I mean, just with the voice cloning technology, it's mind blowing. Any questions? So the question is, what if your passwords are on Apple? Apple tends to be very private and very secure. They don't exploit or they don't share the information with anyone. If there's anything Apple nailed right, at least in their marketing, what we know to be true versus what they actually practice, Apple makes their stuff very secure and they don't give out information. But given the last administration that we had, they were able to still access and get a lot of information through back doors of tech. Even Apple was compromised. So there's a group that wanted some information on some suspected terrorists. Apple wouldn't give it to them. They hired another country to develop this infiltration software, and they took care of it. So not that we have anything to be afraid about. Just no one's going to look up our information, but it's possible. I mean, it's not impossible if they're able to have a lot of backdoors to a lot of big tech platforms. It wouldn't be surprising, you know. But Apple, they're secure. They're secure. Yeah. Google, they're secure. TikTok. You just touched the top of the iceberg, just like the Russia-Ukraine thing. It's very complicated. TikTok is very complicated. I guess it's a good platform. I've never used it. Why? Because once you install the TikTok on your phone, you can read this in their terms of service. They literally monitor every keystroke on your phone when you are using the app or when you're not using the app. So guess what? When you're putting a password on whichever other website, TikTok monitors every single key gesture. Anyway, that is enough for me to not want to use it. I can be fine without TikTok, and I think it'll be good with us. If you want a quick TikTok, I can help you. Okay, if somebody sends you something from TikTok. So just like I said, the websites have a bunch of trackers built into them. As soon as you open a TikTok site, even though you're not logged in, it's via mobile browser, they're still able to be able to collect information on you. They're not going to get detailed information like every single keystroke, but while you're on that browser session, you open up the tab, you see a video, I think they're still able to do it. Brave would block a lot of that, Brave browser, like the outgoing traffic, but when someone sells me a TikTok link, I don't engage in it.
If you look at it and close it, does it go off your phone or does it stay in your phone?
Good question. I don't know. Now, the trackers that are built into websites, they're able to track down like the things you previously visited. Okay, so it's no longer going to track you once you close the window, but from the way that this technology is built, they are able to fetch, this is where you have visited. And at this point, it's not worth it to me. This is actually a true story. So in India, right, and I'm sure this could happen in the States as well. Or actually, this has happened in the States. So somebody did a bunch of research on how the prices appear. So when somebody's taking an Uber or a Lyft, right, somebody who's using an iPhone, their ride is more expensive than somebody who's using Android. Or iPhone users tend to have a lot more money. Those devices are much more expensive. And guess what? They're ripping them off, right? They're also able to tap into the information, this is how much battery this person have left on his phone. So based upon how critical you need to finally get into the car because your battery might run out, your prices could be influenced. Then somebody did test. Okay, I'm gonna go look for a hotel. Okay, on one browser that is able to fetch all the search information that you previously had, their whole week hotel stay was $1,900. All right, when they went on Brave browser, which does not give all that information, blocks all the trackers, $1,400. All right, so it's similar thing. Like TikTok, okay, you sign on a page, it's able to see all your previous browsing history, just like in this case of hotels. being able to, as soon as you log on, being able to see all your previous browsing history, and based on your browsing history, detect, oh, does this person have money or not? So, and figuratively, I think if I was searching on Motel 6 and then I go to Grand Hyatt, Grand Hyatt should give me the cheaper deal instead of if I was searching for, what's a good hotel? I mean, Marriott, right? Right. The suites, right? If I was searching for the Marriott suites, well, guess what? Grand Hyatt will probably know, hey, listen, this guy was searching Marriott, not Motel 6, so let's bump his price up, right? And answering the TikTok question, again, it's browsers having the ability to track down your previous search history, and on that search history, develop an accurate profile of, does this person have money or not? Yeah, yeah. Every site is profiling.
Knowing about TEMU.
TEMU, oh my goodness.
I've been really hesitant to use
TEMU, don't use TEMU. I can actually send this in a video. TEMU, they have such a low profit margin in the cheap stuff they sell, but their biggest profit margin is selling information. That's what they make money on. And then there's cases all over Europe of people in Europe buying TEMU products, but they have like toxic materials, stuff with lead in it, so their kids get exposed to lead. I mean, it's cheap stuff in the first place. Cool, if you want cheap stuff, I don't blame you. But their biggest profit margin is selling information on their clients.
And I've also heard about people's credit card being compromised that abuse them.
Yeah, I've had my credit card compromised in Ukraine. They're good. They're good. I mean, I can't speak about credit cards because it's a financial thing, and I'm not a financial expert. I know how to budget on my spreadsheet, but I can't. I don't have much financial information about credit cards and stuff. Right. One more right there. Cookies. Right. So cookies are these things called temporary files that are stored in your browser. They don't exist because of the way ads change their technology, that cookies are pretty much obsolete. Now, when you dive into the world of cookies, there's third-party cookies, second-party cookies, first-party cookies. It's very complicated, but to simplify, first-party cookies, or say I'm Google, and I have a bunch of advertising partners that I work with directly. They sign up to my terms of service. If you as an advertiser violate that service, you break off the contract and you don't make money. So those are first-party cookies. Now, second-party cookies are the companies that those advertisers work with, and following the chain of command, third-party. So now that the way the technology is built is that second and third-party cookies are not implemented. But we have no control about what those companies do with our data and where it goes. So cookies are only first party, meaning the direct company that the big advertising company works with, and they're generally much safer than they used to be. Now, what's really cool is to clear out your search history and your browsers, especially when you're buying something. If you're buying something, it's a very good idea to clear out that search history. They don't fill out the search profile on you, and you might get a cheaper deal. It's true, yeah. That's a very good question. I'm surprised you brought up cookies. I think, yeah, has this been great, informative? Okay, yeah, we might have more of these and more detailed and some workshops, and I think it's very important. Stay vigilant, stay aware, and don't let those scammers get you. God gave us discernment, and we thank Him for that, right?